Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I would like to recognize some colleagues and special guests gathered here today. First, it is my pleasure to introduce the Premier of Alberta, Jason Kenney, Advanced Education Minister, Advanced Education Minister Demetrius Nicolaitis, Education Minister Adriana LaGrange, fellow MLAs and members of our Government Skilled Trades Caucus, Cyril Turton, myself, and I see somewhere in the crowd there will be Dave Hansen, Nathan Newdorf, Shane Getson, and RJ Sigurdsson. Jim Carter, Board of Careers, The Next Generation, many other leaders, educators, and industry supporters of the advancement of skilled trades education across Alberta. Thank you to Dan Leckett, owner of and co-CEO, and all the folks here at Silent Air Manufacturing for hosting us in your state-of-the-art facility. I know that your family business is an Alberta success story, one that has grown from the family HVAC company with 10 employees to a global leader in high-tech data farm cooling systems with more than 1,700 employees worldwide, including 800 right here in the capital region. I'm proud to be surrounded by so many tradespeople, journeymen, apprentices, and other professionals. As a journeyman myself and the chair of the Skilled Trades Caucus, I'm glad to see Silent Air's commitment to youth pursuing trades education through the Registered Apprenticeship Program and Careers, The Next Generation. I see some of the 16 RAP students here today you have hired as intern apprentices. And I know that some of your full-time employees graduated out of that program to be hired on full-time. You are helping forge a path to a strong Alberta economy. I am proud now to introduce our Premier, Jason Kenney, who will talk more about our ongoing commitment to youth, to re-energizing the Alberta Advantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie, for getting us started, but also for your passion for young people, for the trades, and your leadership in helping us to get skills for jobs. And that's what this is about. What an exciting day. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. This is absolutely. This is a dream coming true, and I am so excited about what we will be saying today for future generations of Albertans. And the message is very simple. It's this, that a trade certificate has every bit as much value, merit, and worth as a university degree. And apprenticeship learning can lead to fulfilling, fantastic, rewarding, lifetime careers, and experiential apprenticeship learning has every bit as much value, in fact, often has more value than just classroom learning. And we want young Albertans to embrace apprenticeships, to embrace trades, to embrace the great careers that come out of programs like Careers the Next Generation. So I want to thank Jackie for her leadership, as well as my colleagues, Ministers LaGrange and Nicolaides, and MLA Cyril Turton. I want to thank Andy Nagel and Jim Carter. Jim, where are you, Jim? He's the chair of Careers right there, and you'll be hearing from him as well. A lot of other folks who have done so much to help to support and encourage apprenticeship learning and trades training. But before I get to the announcement, I want to thank our hosts here, the Leckhelts, for their Alberta business success story. They followed an entrepreneurial path blazed by their parents, who founded an HVAC company here in Edmonton. But I'm told that back in 1987, when the big tornado hit on Black Friday, July 31st, 1987, that you and your brothers were just little guys, right? And that it was the worst tornado ever to hit anywhere in Western Canada. We recall that there were sadly a lot of fatalities that day, and a lot of property was also destroyed, including your parents' first operation. But the family, in the true Alberta spirit, overcame that adversity and rebuilt the business. And Dan and Lindsay went on to earn their engineering degrees from the University of Alberta. Now, I don't know if that tornado is what inspired you to get into the forced air business, but whatever it was, created a whirlwind of entrepreneurial energy and creativity in these two young men, these two young Albertans. Today, Silent Air is a global modular data center and cooling manufacturer for some of the world's biggest cloud computing companies and data center operations. Now, I'm not a techie, so I'm not quite sure what all of that means, but I think it means pumping a lot of cool air into those giant buildings filled with hot computers. And let me tell you, we could use some cool air pumped into the legislature too, so maybe we'll get you set up there. They have operations in Edmonton, Phoenix, Seattle, Virginia, and Ireland. Is that correct? And employ over 800 people worldwide. How about a hand for this great Alberta global company? Proud of you guys. It's an amazing Alberta success story that comes with a Canadian sidebar. Dan and a classic Canadian sidebar. I understand that Dan and Lindsay both played a lot of hockey growing up, and they were very good at it. I'm sure they still are, eh? Not bad, no, not so much. They won an Allen Cup in 1999 with the Stony Plain Eagles, and now they're also in the business of Canada's winter sport as owners of the Eagles, the Seattle Thunderbirds, and the AJHL Spruce Grove Saints. That's pretty cool. So we appreciate all that you do for our community. As employers and as junior hockey team owners, Dan and Lindsay know a lot about training and developing the skills of young people. And this is one of the Alberta government's highest priorities. Alberta has always been a magnet of opportunity for hard workers and risk takers. And that's one of the reasons that we have the youngest population in Canada. But we've also been through some challenging years with the jobs crisis and the flight of investment. But we are fighting as hard as we can for this province to get its economy back on track, to bring back job-creating investment with our job creation strategy, our job creation tax cut, our red tape reduction initiative, and so much more. But a key part of our job creation strategy is our Skills for Jobs strategy, and at the heart of that is today's announcement. A young, well-trained, and mobile workforce will be key to our future success. You know, I want to tell you, I've been spending a lot of my time, last few months, meeting with potential major job-creating investors in Alberta. I'll tell you one example. I was meeting with a global consortium that's looking at a more than $10 billion investment east of Edmonton in petrochemicals. And you know what they raised with me as one of their number one concerns? Will they have the properly trained workforce available for the construction of that project, because there might be other similar projects like it happening? And I said, boy, I'd love to have that problem again. But here's the point. Major global employers are now looking to the future of our labor force, and they're asking whether or not we're going to have young Albertans trained up for those jobs of the future. And I told them about the Skills for Jobs strategy, and I said that is a huge priority for Albertans. It's to make sure that we have the highly skilled individuals who can help to build major job-creating projects like that. And that's why it is so great that we have community groups like Careers the Next Generation that are dedicated to helping young people explore their interests, figure out their career options, and choose the right path. Right here at Silent Air, Careers has registered 16 of you guys who are in the RAP program, something like that? 16 RAP students, that's the Registered Apprenticeship Program, gaining valuable experience through internships thanks in part to Careers. I'm looking forward to hearing shortly from one of them, Aurora Erickson, a high school student who's learning to be a welder. And I just chatting with some of these young folks. Some of them are still in high school. A lot of them are just out of high school. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for making a smart choice to go into the registered apprenticeship program, to go into trades, because you're setting yourselves up for success in the future. You made a smart choice, and we're proud of you. And let me, absolutely. You know, folks, let me just pause to say that in Germany and Austria, Switzerland, Netherlands, and those countries, about 2/3 of youngsters go into registered apprenticeship programs like this one, starting at average age 16. And that's what they complete high school while doing that apprenticeship learning. And then by 19 on average, they have a trade certificate, which is portable all across Germany. And they have full youth employment because of this. And young people who come out of that with no debt, in fact, with savings, with workplace experience, with more financial literacy, with incredible skills, which they can then take if they want to later on in their careers into university degrees if they want to do engineering or something else. In over 350 apprenticeable trades. Too often here in Canada, we have 19-year-olds going into university and ending up with debt and struggling to find employment after it. So you guys in the RAP program are getting a head start, and you made the right choice. So folks, because of this, it's why we have placed a huge emphasis on apprenticeship learning and trades training, including the trades of the future. This isn't all just about traditional industrial trades, but computer coding and green technology. The sky is the limit when it comes to experiential and apprenticeship learning. And that's why I'm very pleased. I'm very proud to be here to announce the fulfillment of a commitment we gave Albertans in the last election, that our government is tripling, as of today, our support for Careers the Next Generation by providing more than $6 million annually by 2022-2023, an investment that will mean doubling the number of Alberta high school students supported by Careers going into registered apprenticeship programs, adding another 200 junior high schools that will participate in the apprenticeship program, and quadrupling the number of Alberta students and apprentices to up to 6,000 of them. Isn't that great news? So this will provide more young Albertans with more access to invaluable hands-on work experience and help them make connections with employers. By closely aligning these programs with high-demand occupations, groups like Careers are one of our province's competitive advantages. Our post-secondary education system likewise needs to be aligned with Alberta's economic needs. And every facet of it, including trades, training, and apprenticeships, is equally valuable to our economy and our society and deserves equal status and support from the Government of Alberta. Today's announcement is part of a broader Skills for Jobs strategy that Minister Nicolaides will talk about. But at the end of the day, we want young people who are thinking about their future to realize that registered apprenticeship programs are a wonderful way to create a bright future for themselves and for all of us as Albertans. Congratulations to these students. Thank you to Careers. And as I say always as Albertans, let's get her done. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Premier, for that incredible announcement and for that incredible commitment. You know, we know and recognize that Alberta today is facing a very critical dual challenge. One of the highest youth unemployment rate in decades, and the other of a growing, looming shortage of skilled labor. So over the next 5 years, nearly 20,000 skilled workers are set to retire, and within 10 years that number is expected to grow and reach over 45,000. So it's important for us to take action now and invest in our youth, to provide them with the skills and training to connect them with in-demand, good-paying careers. And that is, of course, what we're doing here today. We're providing young Albertans with opportunities to build a promising future right here at home with a career that they can be proud of. For more than 20 years, more than 27,000 students have participated in opportunities through Careers Next Generation. And with more than 1,500 paid internships in 2018 alone, Careers has made a profound impact on Alberta's future workforce. Today's announcement means that by 2022-23, 4 times as many students will be able to access future internships, helping high school students find the best path forward through education and skills training, and empowering them with the knowledge and experience they need to succeed. Whether in the trades or in fields of health services, forestry, technology, artificial intelligence, or others, students leave the program knowing even more about the myriad of choices they have before them. That is why our government has committed to increasing funding to careers so that 6,000 students can be matched with employers through internships, apprenticeships, camp workshops, and mentoring. So as we said, Alberta is facing a critical challenge with the retirement of many skilled workers and one of the highest youth unemployment rates in decades. And it is critical for young Albertans to have the opportunity to explore, learn, and apply these practical skills. This government strongly believes, as we heard a moment ago from the Premier, that apprenticeship learning has every bit as much value, merit, and worth as a university degree. And we are investing in our youth today because we know they are our future. And I look forward to seeing their success in the generations to come. Thank you, and to Careers, I wish you all the best, and would now like to invite Careers Chair Jim Carter to come say a few words. Good to see you.
So hi everyone, my name is Jim Carter and I'm the Board Chair of Careers Next Generation. I would like to welcome you to Silent Air, one of over 800 employers that we, with our school partners, have placed student interns with over the last year. In fact, there are currently 17 students working here, earning a wage and earning credits towards certification. And some of them are here with us right now. In fact, I think all of them are here. And I'd really like to thank you for joining us today and joining the announcement and letting us be part of your career exploration journey. We can't wait to see some of the amazing things that you're all going to go on to accomplish as you pursue and complete your trades training. I'd also like to point out some of our board members who are here today. We have Andy Fraser, I think they're pretty much in the front row. There, standing, Andy Fraser, Gord Winkle, Shirley Doole, John Wilson, and our founding chair, Eric Newell, who is here as well, and many people from our team. We're also pleased to be sharing this announcement with our partners, and joining us today are our friends from the Building Trades of Alberta. So Terry Parker is here, and Bob Blakely is here. And I should say that Bob was very much involved in the very beginning of this, supporting the program when it began some 27 years ago, the cornerstone part that led to Careers later. We also have representatives from CLAC, Dennis Perrin and Brad Bent, and the College of Alberta Superintendents, Barry Latouni, and of course Nate, we have Glenn Feltham, the president of the institution. And we also have from SAIT, Aaron Boyle, and the Ochese First Nation, Alice Peters is here, and the Alexander First Nation, Chief Kurt Burnstick is here as well. We also have representatives from EPCOR, Angela Dorval, Jeff Johnson is here too. I haven't seen Jeff yet, but I know he's coming. We also have the Electrical Contractors Association, Sherry McLean, and Jasper School, Pat Elliott, and several other schools and partners are with us as well. It's also important to note that we're working on a new and exciting partnership with other partners here today. We have something that we're working on with Women Building Futures, and we have Amanda Rosichuk, who's the chair of the board, and Kathy Kimpston, and Skills Canada as well. We have Ray Massey and Chris Brownton. So these are all endeavors that we're working on so that we don't end up duplicating effort, but rather can be more effective with the resources that we all have available to us. Premier Kenney, thank you. This is exciting news for careers and the thousands of young people impacted by our programs every year. You are making an investment in an organization with deep roots in this province. Careers began 22 years ago, driven by industry leaders, including myself, to address some big challenges. On the one hand, we desperately needed skilled trades people to handle the rapid growth of our province, and on the other hand, we were unable to train and attract a young, energetic workforce fast enough. So we saw an opportunity here to bridge that gap. The goal was simple: to connect high school students to available job opportunities and employers to grow the skilled workforce through internship and employment. A win both for youth and a win for industry and a win for the communities where they reside, as we're seeing right here today. Now here we are today with more than 2 decades of success behind us. With schools, we have connected nearly 30,000 students to over 17,000 employers to explore in-demand careers in the province. Many of these students have discovered their passion, moving on to rewarding successful careers in skilled trades, and some of them are now leading in the industry that they got the trade in. And it's happening in high school, before they are thrust out into the world beyond graduation, where important, time-consuming, and expensive life decisions are being made. This investment in careers will help more youth enter the workforce faster and better, and they're going to be better informed with stable, well-paying careers. Careers also provides a tremendous benefit to employers by providing the best match. Companies can grow their workforce from the ground up and keep more local talent within their communities. The positive outcomes are really astounding, and now we have the ability to make an even bigger impact. This investment is so much bigger than a commitment to careers the next generation. It really is a commitment to schools, to youth, and a commitment to Alberta business and Alberta's economic success. Premier Kenney, Careers is honored to be part of your plan. Because of this multi-year investment, we will be able to, with our school partners, quadruple the number of internships that we facilitate. Your investment will be providing 6,000 students annually with career-integrated learning within the next 4 years. We will work closely with these youth to explore career options that meet industry demands, and their success will be shining examples that a Journey Person certificate is just as valuable as any other form of post-secondary education. Yes, these are lofty goals, and we have our work cut out for us, but with the support from the Alberta government, from industry, our partners, educators, and our passionate, driven team, we are rising to the challenge. Together, we will ensure success for our province's youth and build prosperity for all Albertans. So thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. Now, I would now like to introduce an amazing rap student, Aurora Erickson, and I had the pleasure of speaking to Aurora before the events took place today. And she is training to be a welder, and she's doing wire feed and stick welding and MIG and all kinds of things. So we had a really good conversation. So Aurora, the podium is yours.
Good morning. My name is Aurora Erickson. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a first-year welding apprentice at Silent Air. Growing up, I found the trades very interesting. Being able to use my hands and building something from start to finish seemed like a really gratifying experience. In high school, one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Hayes, recommended I try out the RAP program. It gives students an opportunity to see firsthand what the trades are like while earning credits towards your high school diploma, as well as accumulating hours to put into your Alberta Apprenticeship Blue Book. I considered post-secondary as an alternative, but found that working right out of high school gave me an opportunity to advance, to find out what I really wanted to know. Going to university would have meant I had to dedicate 4 years just to decide if it was the right choice for me. The coordinators from Careers Next Generation, who work in conjunction with the RAP program, find you a job opportunity that will take you on as an apprentice with no prior work experience. All I had to do was send in my resume, a cover letter for the job I was applying for, and they did the rest. The coordinators from Careers contacted my teacher and let them know I secured an interview. At that stage, it proceeded as it would be applying for any other job. Within a week of being a successful applicant, I received a phone call from a coordinator at Careers letting me know the great news. While in the RAP program, you're given a coordinator whom you make weekly contact with. With the field I've chosen being traditionally male-dominated, having this extra support has made my introduction to the trades a very positive experience. I've been afforded the same opportunities to learn and expand upon my skills regardless of my gender. Working in the trades is never easy, but nothing ever is. Fortunately, going through the RAP program has helped me find something I really enjoy and could definitely see myself doing as a career. I encourage all students to consider the RAP program as it offers many things, including baking, information technology, and/or the traditional trades, allowing you to test something out before you make a post-secondary commitment. If I could offer any other young woman or man a piece of advice, it would be follow your heart and put yourself out there. You won't know until you're actually in that position doing what you love. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to invite the Premier and the Minister back up to the podium to take some questions from the media. I'll remind the media that there is a mic to your right, and we'll take questions on the announcement first.
I just wanted to say, great job, Aurora. That's really impressive, and not just your decision, but also your self-confidence. Proud of you. And by the way, we're also, as part of our Skills for Job program, investing $10 million into women building futures to encourage more young women to go into trades. So hopefully you won't be the only lady in the class after this, okay? Well done. Thank you very much.
Bill.
Hi, Premier. Just wondering what the reasoning is to really focus on trades here. We saw, of course, the funding for the STEP program canceled. So why go in this direction and provide more funding in this way as opposed to the STEP program?
Well, this was a central part of our Skills for Jobs agenda in our election platform. So this is another promise made and another promise kept. And we chose this path because, as Dimitri said, we're looking at a huge wave of baby boomers retiring out of the trades, and we just haven't kept pace with young people going into trades training. So there's going to be a big labor gap when it comes to so many of these trades that we need to build Alberta's future economy. And secondly, I really believe, and ever since I was the federal employment minister and I studied the German apprenticeship model, I believe profoundly that we got something wrong in our education system 2 or 3 decades ago when we started telling young people that they pretty much had to go into academic post-secondary classroom learning, and we sent a lot of messages that frankly discouraged young people from trades and apprenticeship learning. And that's one of the and you know what do we end up with? Well, we've ended up with high youth unemployment and skills shortages in a lot of good jobs that are holding back our economy. Meanwhile, you look to a lot of these European countries, and they've got full youth employment and a training and education system that is linked up with the economy and with the labor market. Because the employers, like Silent Air here, they're making an investment in the future of their labor force through apprenticeship and internship programs. Another problem we have in Canada is that employers generally invest much less than in other developed countries in training the workforce. Apprenticeship and internship programs are one way to get more employers to put more money into that training. So the bottom line is this: if you look at the German countries that do a whole lot more of this, they have better outcomes, higher youth employment, less student debt, and young people who are in satisfying, successful careers even before they hit the age of 20. That STEP program, that's just a short-term subsidy for summer jobs. Quite frankly, our youth job creation wage is going to create a lot more jobs than that did, and on a permanent basis as well. So we had to make some choices in our budget. That's one choice we made. But I want you to know, even at a time of fiscal restraint, we have decided to invest tens of millions of dollars in additional support for trades training and apprenticeship programs like this, because we just think it's so important. And we want to lead Canada on this. I hope other provinces will follow our lead.
No, any off topic?
Premier Tom from Global. As you obviously have focus on trades and trades employment, there are a lot of people out there that want to go other routes, dentistry, whatever, that require bachelor's degrees. Those students, and I assume some apprentice students, are going to be facing tuition hikes, higher interest on their student loans. How, when you say there's a youth shortage of jobs out there, tell these students, well, to get trained for jobs, you're also going to have to pay more. How is that going to help the economy?
Our general strategy is to do a better job of supporting post-secondary programs that have better job opportunities, better labor market outcomes. Alberta spends more on universities than any other province, no matter how you count it. We spend about $10,000 more per student than Ontario does for each university student, and yet we have lower university admissions and lower completion rates. So the McKinnon panel underscored that it's in universities where we have by far the least efficient system in Canada. We're simply not getting the bang for the buck. And so we are challenging our university administrators to operate at least as efficiently as the universities in BC, Ontario, Quebec, Saskatchewan, or anywhere else in the province. As a province, we've got a fiscal crisis on our hands. Got an $8 billion deficit, the biggest per capita per person deficit in the country, where if we don't do anything, we're blowing past $100 billion in debt. We'll be spending billions on interest payments to bankers rather than supporting education, for example. So to save the future of our public services, including post-secondary education, we need to balance our budget. And as the McKinnon report says, we should do that by learning to be at least as efficient as other provinces. Now, we've chosen to protect health and primary education as well as social services for the vulnerable, and that means it's the other one-third of government spending that we have to find some more efficient ways of delivering, and that starts with our universities. There is no good reason why we should be spending $10,000 more per university student than other provinces with lower enrollment and completion levels, and I look forward to working with our universities to fix that problem.
How about the decision, though, to increase the interest rate on student loans for students? It's one thing, I appreciate tuition and having a higher cost, but to make them pay more to pay it back.
Well, it's 1 point more, and the federal government is actually doing a 1 point reduction, so there will be no net difference for Alberta students. And by the way, I wish we could find billions of dollars of savings without changing anything just by clicking our fingers, but in the real world, you got to make choices.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kenney. I have a couple of questions for my colleagues in Ottawa. They're not on this topic. Doug Ford says it's time for everyone to put the election campaign behind them and work with the Prime Minister. Do you feel the same way?
Well, yes, the election is behind us, and the Prime Minister and I spoke last week. I emphasized that we do want to work to advance our vital economic interests within the Canadian Federation, but that is going to require a change of attitude on the part of the Ottawa government. For starters, we cannot allow Prime Minister Trudeau to trade away the Trans Mountain Pipeline in order to get support in this minority parliament from parties committed to killing it. And that would take an already combustible situation in Western Canada, and I think would do very serious damage, not just to jobs in the economy, but to the sense of unity in our federation. And I sent Prime Minister Trudeau a 5-page letter 6 days ago detailing ways in which his government could demonstrate that it's willing to listen to the concerns of working people in Western Canada. And I hope that he'll listen. In the days to come, I'll be appointing a group of prominent Albertans to consult widely on how we can assert our demands for fairness within Canada. So I agree with Premier Ford. We've got to find ways of working together, but a government, a federal government, that shut down Northern Gateway, killed Energy East, surrendered to a veto on Keystone, bungled Trans Mountain, brought in the No More Pipelines law, brought in the tanker ban on Alberta oil exports. It's threatening a federal carbon tax and a cap on the oil sands. That has done nothing to recognize the ongoing economic decline in this province over the past 5 years. If they want to value Alberta as the goose that laid the golden egg in the Federation, as the province that has paid the lion's share of the bills, then we need a fair deal in the country. And we'll work with anybody on that, but we'll make no apologies for fighting for a fair deal for Alberta within Canada.
One very quick follow-up. What is the first thing that Prime Minister Trudeau could do to prove to Westerners that he got the message?
A, get Trans Mountain built as soon as possible. B, repeal Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines law. Sorry, I gave you 2.
We have time for one more.
Hi, Premier. Carly with City News. I just wanted to get your perspective on diversification. On Friday, the finance minister said that it's diversifying away from an oil and gas is a long-term luxury. Why not diversify now to get off the royalty roller coaster?
I'm not sure he actually used that word, and we are diversifying. That is part of it. Look, Alberta's economy has been diversifying for 30, 40 years. Oil and gas used to be a third of our economy. It's down to less than 20%. Even when it grew massively, other industries like manufacturing, right here at Silent Air, services, construction grew faster. And so we believe the best way to continue that trend towards a more diverse Alberta economy is by getting the right overall economic conditions rather than politicians picking winners and losers. We tried that in the past. It didn't work. We just blew a hole in our budget in the 80s and 90s when we did that. So instead, what we are doing is things like the job creation tax cut. So we have by far the most attractive tax rates for new job-creating investment in Canada, almost the lowest in North America. The red tape reduction strategy, so that we move from the most over-regulated economy in Canada to being the freest and fastest moving, and things like the Skills for Jobs agenda, so we have a workforce that's ready for the jobs of the future, as opposed to us subsidizing hand-picked businesses through special tax credits or government subsidies. Instead, what we're looking at is getting the right overall economic conditions. And that is our strategy for diversification. And if you look at our budget, we talk about certain sectors that we'll be working with, tourism being one, and petrochemical diversification, so that we're competitive with places like Texas and Louisiana. But we'll be doing things like that without putting tax dollars at risk.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I want to thank I want to thank Silent Air again. Where are you? There you go. Thank you so much for being for hosting us, but for also being a great Alberta job creator. And proud of all of you guys for what you're doing. Please tell more young people to follow your footsteps. We need you guys to help build our economy in the future. Thank you very much, everyone.